World Trigger. It's been a while. We missed it last month, but we're making up for it here. This is World Trigger, chapter 226, right? The away mission test, part 23. Last we left off, because we didn't cover this chapter last month, but that will never happen again.
Never.
Never. Last we left off, Katori has been suffering a little bit of a slump. She has been feeling really discouraged after seeing that her squad mates are also not doing great. Rokudera, who is leading a squad himself, is in the bottom at this point, and her operator, who is her best friend, I forget her name at the moment, but yeah, she's not doing too hot herself on her squad. So that really brought down her mood. And Osamu basically was asking around her squad mates. He hit up her operator, I remember, and she was like, it's not that I don't want to help you, but like talking to you about her character flaws, I'm her like best friend, and that feels like somewhat uncomfortable. It feels like kind of wrong. It feels like I'm talking shit about her. So, there's other people you can ask, but I don't feel comfortable sharing that information. She hits up her other squad mate, and he mentions her blocks and all that stuff, and I think he mentioned something about giving Katori something to fight, a low goal to shoot for, and he gives the information that apparently Katori has a crush on Kyosuke, who is on Tamakoma 1. So she's just like,
Kyosuke.
Kyosuke.
What is it with the "ske" at the end of the name?
Yeah, I guess it's a thing. I don't know. I don't know. What is it with the ske? Anyway, so Osamu, in short, basically says, "Hey, if you help us out here, and if you help us ace these away exams, I will personally get you an audience with Kyosuke." And she was immediately like, "What? Yeah." So
yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And she just she immediately is enthusiastic again. And we open this chapter with her basically getting down to business. It's like, all right, so let's iron out these details. Like, how good do I gotta perform? What are the conditions? Like, do I gotta get a certain amount of points? Do I have to reach a certain rank in the battle sims? What do I gotta do? Give me a benchmark. I need that. And Sua basically is just like, fine, how about Mikumo's got to make the away mission? And there's nothing the rest of us can do to talk to Kyosuke. So he's the one who's closest to us, closest to him out of all of us. So it's between you and him. And she's basically like, all right, but you'd better keep your freaking promise. So that's nice. We then get a couple of scenes with the other squads across the away mission test, kind of going over how they did. A lot of people went higher, jumped in the rankings a lot. We have this one moment with Taichi, who was like feeling down on himself because he didn't feel like he was really contributing all that much. And Inukai really made him feel down about it, and just like pointing out his insecurities and stuff, and Kage was like sticking up for him and stuff. But this time, because he really aced the special assignment that he failed last time, so it really helped his crew in general. So Murakami squad has also done way better, thanks to Hiyami's idea. I forget what that idea was. I remember their idea being like somewhat interesting, but it's been like 2 months. So yeah, we cut over to Ninomiya squad. They're still good. They're still in first place, thanks to Emma, because Emma basically he got 75, and he boosted his own score, which is pretty good.
From 73
to 75. So yeah, and we get a little moment where Ninomiya was like, he turns over to Chica and he's like, you also did better than yesterday. Keep that up. And Chica's kind of surprised. She's like, whoa, a compliment from
Yeah.
Inomiya. Cute little moment, I guess. We then cut over to Utagawa's squad, who, is congratulating the kid. I'm blanking on his name, but I know this kid. He's on Kakizaki's squad. But yeah, they're congratulating him because he did pretty good on the special assignment. And we cut over to Urashima and Yuma, who are washing dishes and stuff. And he's asking like, you were texting the other day. Who were you texting? And Urashima didn't really spill the beans, but he's like, maybe you were giving your squad mates advice. He's like, no, what do you care anyway? And obviously Yuma can tell that he's lying, so that's nice.
Right.
I feel like this little budding relationship here is gonna be important later. Like we may not see the depth of their friendship, but I feel like Yuma's gonna be in a place to like stick up for him later. Like I feel like there'll be people who will doubt his intentions or whatever, but Yuma is like he's actually kind of a nice guy once you get to know him.
What's the deal with this guy again with the long hair?
Urashima's a new character. We haven't really spent a lot of time with him.
Was he the money guy?
Yeah, he was the money guy.
Oh.
Yeah, for those who don't know, what we're referring to is that time. Oh man, my bad. He's referring to that time in the rank wars that but before these away missions began, where they were talking about compensation for participating in the rank wars. So yeah, that's him. Anyway, back in Suwa Squad, they're talking about how these skills, like the skills of these individual squads, basically determine the actions, I guess. So the reason that so many squads have jumped up before is that everybody's basically gotten to a point where they can face off with each other's best formations against each other, and a lot of people benefited from that. So this time, Katori says that like, well, we can already predict their moves well enough because they always go for Osamu, because he's kind of like weak he's the weakest of us. And they're like, all right, so maybe we should defend Mikumo a little better. And Suwa takes this in, like, yeah, I get what you're saying. And he turns over to Mikumo to see what he's been thinking, because he's tasked Osamu with, like, thinking of ideas,
Thinking
to cheese the game. And Osamu's like, well, I feel like we're really lacking is data. And they're like, wait, but we have like a bunch of data. He's like, no, I think we have this is all we have, but I think we should ask around and see what everybody else has absorbed from this. So the first person they called is Kodera, and Suwa is basically like, hey,
Osamu's light rival. You can't tell me otherwise. They're gonna become rivals eventually.
What do you mean?
They're both the same character, man.
No, they're not.
Just one's a protagonist and the other isn't.
Kodera is an A-rank sniper.
Exactly, but like personality. Look at them, man. They're damn near the same. It's the same mannerisms, the same temperament.
You're just saying that because
both
they
smart
have glasses.
guys.
You're just saying that because of the glasses.
Oh shit, maybe I am.
That's
even their expressions, man. I'm
Mm.
telling you, that's Mikumo's rival.
Okay. All right. Anyway, so Suwa is immediately like, "How's it hanging, Kodera? Give us some intel." Straight to the point. I respect it. So Suwa basically proposes like, "Hey, maybe we should form an alliance." Kodera's like, "Well, we're higher than you in the rankings, so an alliance between us would not be. Well, I can see how it benefits you, but for us, what is it? What does your half of the alliance do for us?" And Suwa's basically like, "Well, you're not like at the top, right? You're better than us, but not by much. Aren't you trying to win?
Good point.
Aren't you trying to win, bro?"
Like, how you think you're gonna get an edge?
Mm-hmm. And Kodera's like, all right, I'll join. And then that's when Sua hands over the phone to Osamu, and that's where the chapter ends. Josh,
Oh,
yeah, what did you think of chapter 226?
I loved it. I can't give it to RGC because I have integrity and it's not part of the usual lineup. There you go. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I mean,
With that said, this was an incredible chapter. Reading it, I didn't feel it at first until I got to the end and said, "Oh shit, he really built this all up all in one chapter, like the situation." So let me explain. Um, when he gave us a little bit of insight, on how the teams are perceiving their information and their ranks and all of that, right? Like the points. We got to like he basically sold us that this, at least with this team in particular, right, with Kodera's team, they already had it in their mind, like, okay, we're at this point, but we need to do whatever it takes to overtake them. Like, and as a matter of fact, I think if we go back, they're the ones that were they. Was that Kodera? No, I think that was another. Let me. Oh man, what team was it that was talking about that?
about what?
Nah, that was a different team that was talking about anything to keep the Nino Mia squad from getting more points. Well, they didn't. They didn't point out their. They didn't point out Kodera's team in particular, but I think the whole air of it is that everybody's kind of thinking about what little edge could be gained. So it was very realistic that Suwa would be able to manipulate something out of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it also makes a lot of sense that he, out of most of the other participants, would be the first to kind of think outside the box and say, "Oh, well, let me just call people and try to see if I can suss something out of them." That's cool. That's really good writing. He set up the possibility of it because it's already on everyone else's mind. It's very realistic that other people are willing to take that chance and even share information if it gives them a jump because there's clear leaders. Like, and then if you look at, okay, even with Caldera squad, he even, like, I mean, Nino Mia said it himself. He is in a position where it's like, bro, you see how Mizukami's smoking your shit. You better look for any type of out you can. And the same argument could be said for someone like Nino Mia squad where they're doing really well, but they could get the jump. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's acceptable outside of Mizukami, right? But that still leaves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other teams that they could possibly work with. And if even one or two of those teams give them some data, that's way more than they had to work with earlier. So it's a really sound strategy, very well written, and it's why we can read seemingly procedural chapters like this with excitement, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's why World Trigger is lit.
That's why
Bang
it
bang.
is
Can I get the shot drop?
yeah.
Get ready, everybody.
Bow, bow, bow. That one?
I didn't hear it.
Oh.
Shit. Well, hopefully it doesn't rape you out of ears.
No, it's I did the lawyer one where you go.
No, the one shot one.
Oh,
I want the one shot
it.
one. That's the World Trigger one.
That one?
Nope. Brian's gate is closed, so that's why I couldn't hear it. But anyway, yeah, I guess those are all my thoughts. I mean, I thought there was, what's a moment that stood out to me with Inukai?
Yeah.
No, not Inukai. Inukai's team. I forget the kid.
Taichi?
Taichi, yeah. I thought it was really funny when he was like feeling good about himself and he tried to crack a little joke like, "Oh, like you guys struggled without me on those battle sims, right?" And knowing damn well that wasn't the case. And the guy is just like, "Oh yeah, you're right. We do tend to do much better without you." And he says it so plainly, and he was just like, "Oh, it was a joke." Like, get the fuck out of here, man.
Yeah.
You're an ass. Like, he really is an asshole. I can't wait until that they really implode and fight each other. It's gonna happen.
Maybe.
No way. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
I thought the situation with Nino Mia was really cool too. How he treated Ima, and then recovered with Amatori. I like that. Asuma is clearly showing Ninomiya, like he's softly showing him like different leadership styles and ways he could go about talking to his teammates.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Asuma's not like the way he said it, like that's how he includes Ninomiya. And Ninomiya is smart enough to understand that, like, okay, I see what he's trying to do. But Asuma's slick. He's not ordering Ninomiya to do anything. He's just making him more aware. That's a good way of teaching. There's many different ways of teaching, and subtlety is one of the harder ones to do. Asuma is one of my favorite characters.
Oh yeah, I love Asuma.
We don't even see him that much. That's just crazy.
Yeah.
The first sniper.
The first sniper.
So fucking cool.
Yeah. I also really love this chapter. I mean, it's a very it's a rule basically around here that World Trigger, we would give it the RGC every time it pulls up.
Every single time.
So we tend to disqualify it from getting an RGC unless it's very undeniably better than everything else. I mean,
all rules is off once there's a rank war or some type of
there will
regular
be a
war.
There will be a real battle simulation going. So
yeah, and then
it's
gonna be quiet for the rest of the series.
Yeah, a lot of series are gonna take a couple L's, but it'd be that way. We gotta give World Trigger its flowers when we can. But that being said, I think Josh, you said everything I wanted to say. There's a lot going on here in terms of. I mean, I'll take it. I don't want to. I'm trying to think. One thing that's I think is interesting is that they're all given these phones, to communicate with each other, and Osamu was. I mean, there have been other squads that have reached out to each other in the past, but Osamu is the other one to think like, no, we should really be using these to form alliances and like really start to have a bridge of intel between squads. So good on him for that. It's very Osamu to like kind of think outside the box in that regard. I don't think anybody really thinks because this is a competitive environment, so they think like the implication that they're all like ranking each other and all that stuff. But the truth is, this is a test of an away mission where everyone's working together. Like, you know what I mean? This whole test is about how you work with others. So it would make sense that communication between each other, putting aside like this hyper competitive attitude and simply communicating with each other is the real test here. Is what I think.
Yeah.
So I think that's the only interesting thing that I have to really offer here outside of the thing I mentioned with Yuma and Urashima. I think that's gonna pay off a little bit down the road. So it tells me Urashima is gonna find his way onto this away mission somehow. So I'm just excited, man. There's a lot to love with World Trigger. I don't really have much else to say that you haven't already said. So I think I'm good to move on if you are.
Yeah, we love World Trigger. Can't wait. These next 26 days are going to be rough.
Oh, yeah, definitely, man. I can't believe it. This is a monthly series, man.
Shit, indeed.